One day in a house in the middle of a snowy hill, there is a man named Christopher Decker, commonly called Chris, who is using an exercise bike while talking on the phone with his ex-wife, Jamie. They are talking about the problem of their divorce, which has not been completed because Chris has not signed divorce papers and alimony. When asked what the reason was, Chris said he should have tried harder to stay with Jamie, but Chris preferred his company, which he has now sold for money. Jamie via video call said she has moved on, and Chris should do the same.
I'm moving on, Chris. I got a lot of thunder and lightning over here. Chris really loved it. It is fine.
Elsewhere, Willow said she misses her father, who is none other than Chris. She asked why Jamie doesn't love Chris anymore. Jamie replied she still loves Chris and said even though they have separated, it doesn't mean they have stopped loving. Jamie then said that she and Chris loved Willow. One night, Chris drives to a supermarket. He buys chocolate ice cream. He accidentally notices a water spot on the floor that leads to a girl in a yellow jacket who looks soaked and is confused about choosing a wine. The girl suddenly called out to him, and Chris walked over to her. She asked him if he knew anything about wine, to which he replied that he did, and she asked him for a wine recommendation. When Chris asked if she had a special occasion, she said she was having a bad day, so Chris recommended Nebbiolo.
Yeah, I had an amazingly shitty day. Sky.
Before the girl leaves, Chris introduces himself, and the girl does the same, revealing that the girl is named Sky. Outside the supermarket, Chris approaches Sky, who is still standing there. It turns out that the Uber that Sky called was cancelled. Chris offers her a ride, and Sky accepts his offer. Sky was driven to her place. Sky said she had a fight with Lisa, her roommate, so she didn't want to go back there. Chris once again offered to help by inviting Sky to his house, and he would take Sky back when Lisa was asleep. Sky refused Chris's offer and got out of the car, but she just stood outside and refused to go into her room. Chris, who was still there, backed up the car. Sky accepted Chris's offer and left with him. From inside the house, a grandfather was seen peeping at Sky behind the window.
Offer still stands.
No.
Arriving at the house, Chris chatted with Sky while preparing wine for them to drink together. Sky asks what Chris does for a living, and Chris explains that he is retired but he inherited some money and developed some apps, the best of which is a home security guard app that he installed in his house. Chris asks Sky, and Sky explains she used to model in LA, but now she works as a cocktail waitress at Kitty Warren's bar.
So I came out here on an assignment. Do you always do your grocery shopping after midnight?
Chris then showed her his wine collection room, after which they drank rare and expensive wines. They talked some more.
What's the alternative?
When Sky had to go home, Chris offered her to stay. Sky accepted, and that night they both spent time together. The next day, Chris wakes up and Sky is no longer with him. It turns out that Sky has gone back to her motel. The grandfather peeking through his window called Sky a disgrace. When Sky walked into her room, Lisa, who was waiting for her to come home, was upset that Sky didn't give her news. Sky was also upset that Lisa walked into her room, but an upset Lisa explained that the residence was hers and she told Sky to leave. But when Sky walked into her room and locked the door, Lisa withdrew her words and was very desperate. As night falls, Chris goes in his car to visit Sky at her workplace.
Hi.
What?
Nothing.
I'm only here because my ex-wife told me to move on with my life.
On the way home they chat, and Sky reveals the truth she was hiding earlier. Arriving at the parking lot, they saw a man trying to break into Chris's car door. Although Chris told the man to leave so as not to make trouble, Sky threw a bottle at the man and made him angry. Eventually Chris was hit with a long iron by the man. Chris returned home in a wheelchair pushed by Sky, with a cast on one leg. A guilt-ridden Sky offers to be his nurse, and Chris accepts, then tells her to pack her things.
Alright, I'll call around a nurse agency.
That too.
Meanwhile at the motel, Lisa is smoking at the window. The grandfather, who sees her, picks up a flower and approaches her. They chat and the grandfather says that Lisa used to be happier before Sky came. Lisa said it was none of his business, but he said it was his business because he was not just a motel keeper, he was also Lisa's true friend. Then Sky got there, and he reminded her that they were both 2 weeks behind on their rent, but he didn't want to evict them. Lisa protested to Sky for not giving her any news, and Sky went to her room to pack her things. While arguing, Lisa picked up a small book from the window that she had thrown, and it turned out that she knew something that Sky had done.
What the fuck? You're not gonna say anything? Explain where the fuck you went?
After they spent some time together, Sky went to Chris's house and became his personal nurse. At the motel where Lisa lives, the grandfather arrives, but when called, Lisa does not answer. The grandfather goes deeper and checks the bathroom. There he finds Lisa lying in the bathtub with both hands cut by scissors and blood staining the water.
Lisa? Lisa?
At the motel owned by the grandfather, there were police who arrived and cleaned up the scene. One of the police questioned the grandfather about the possibility that Lisa did not commit suicide, and the grandfather explained that Lisa was desperate because her roommate left her. Then the policeman said that Sky, or her long name Skylar Webb, was not in the possession of the police.
She was like a daughter to
Guy or Scarlet Webb in any of our databases.
Meanwhile, Chris was on a video call with his wife, and she told him that she would take Willow there on Friday morning, and Chris allowed her to come. After the video call ended, Chris called Sky, who was in the shower. Chris then looked into Sky's bag and pulled out a photo showing Sky and Lisa together.
Maybe you're not who you say.
Sorry, I was just dumb.
The next day, Chris wakes up and realizes his cell phone is missing. He searches outside the room. He accidentally sees the news that shows a photo of Lisa. In the news it is questioned whether Lisa committed suicide or was murdered. Chris then looked at the CCTV. Apparently Sky had gone home after buying fried chicken.
I got fried chicken. You liked it?
Chris discussed Lisa being rumored dead and he told Sky to call the police, but Sky said it was stupid because she was the killer. Sky revealed that she was forced to kill Lisa and she had been watching Chris from her room. Apparently for the past 2 months, Sky has been watching Chris through a telescope in her room.
And she was way too nosy. I know everything that happens around here.
Chris realized the deception that Sky had done and told her to leave, but his house was locked via an application from his cell phone which was in the hands of Sky. When he tried to take it, his body was shocked by the stun gun. On the other hand, the grandfather entered the motel that Lisa had stayed in to clean up. He checked the items there and found a telescope in Sky's previous room. He then saw the houses on the hill through the telescope. Meanwhile, while Chris was tied to a wheelchair, Sky brought a drill which she used to get Chris to tell her all his passwords and security codes. Since Chris didn't answer, she used the drill on Chris's casted leg. The grandfather, who was still using the telescope, accidentally saw Sky from there. He saw Sky, who was with Chris.
I needed you to know how serious I am.
Sky then used scissors to open the cloth that tied his hands. After the cloth came off, Chris immediately choked Sky and they fell down. Sky grabbed the scissors she had been using and stabbed Chris. Sky told Chris why he should cooperate with her and showed a video of Jamie with Willow. Chris begged Sky not to hurt them both. Sky then took picture of the paintings that was displayed there. Soon after, the man who had previously injured Chris's leg came there and revealed that he was named Ki Ju and would pay a lot of money for Chris's belongings. Then, the grandfather came to Chris's house by smashing the window with a stone. Chris screamed for help with his mouth gagged with duct tape, but the grandfather talked to himself.
look this property up on Google Earth.
After the duct tape on Chris's mouth was removed, Chris yelled for him to call the police before Sky returned, but he didn't because he wanted to get paid. The grandfather then took the painting by Picasso that was displayed there and removed the duct tape that bound Chris's body. Soon Sky returned. They panicked and the grandfather tried to run away with the painting and a knife. Then he ran upstairs.
Probably got your hopes up, right?
While Sky was looking for the grandfather, Chris tried to escape and managed to get out of the house. The grandfather, who had been found by Sky, tried to fight back using the knife in his hand, but Sky slashed and stabbed him using the sword. Outside, Chris managed to find a motorcycle and ran away from there, but he fell and crashed into the street and a car almost hit him. The man from the car helped Chris get into his car and took him away from there. The man then called 911 and handed his cell phone to Chris so he could explain the situation. But it turned out that the car he was riding in was heading back to his house and the man driving the car punched him in the face. Chris gets back into the wheelchair and enters his house with Sky and the man who turns out to be Sky's stepfather.
Especially when it came to seducing.
So ever since then, it's been me.
Sky's stepfather explained Sky's talent for identity theft and fraud. At night, Sky approached Chris. Sky said she didn't want to leave that place, and Chris said that Sky could have had everything without stealing because Chris loved her. Chris asked why Sky was still there when she had taken everything, but Sky said there were still $14 million in bonds still in the safe at the bank. Sky let Chris live because she needed his fingerprints.
Did you really think I didn't know?
Slipped your mind, did it?
Sky's stepfather then came and cut off Chris's thumb. The next day, Jamie came with Willow to Chris's house. She realized something was strange and she saw blood marks on the table.
Daddy!
Willow, who ran to find her father, met Sky and was held in her lap. Jamie asked Sky to call Chris, but she refused. Then Sky's stepfather came. Jamie and Willow were then put in the same room as Chris. Meanwhile, Sky's stepfather put Chris's thumb on his hand, and he left with Sky for the bank. Inside the house, Chris and his wife and daughter are locked up. His daughter is playing with a coin in her hand. When Chris is told to play with it too, he sees a vent that Willow can enter. Jamie said it was too dangerous, but Chris said they had to get out of there. Jamie agrees and tells Willow to enter the vent, and Chris tells her to open the door, whose code is Willow's date of birth.
Get us out of here, and then we're going to get some ice cream.
What's the code?
081.
At the bank, Sky's stepfather uses Chris's thumb to access the safe and fails several times, but finally they succeed and the contents of the safe are given. It turned out that the contents of the safe had been taken by Jamie on the advice of her lawyer. The bonds were still at the bank but had been placed in another box.
That the bonds would give me leverage.
Sky and her stepfather were upset and returned to Chris's house. Willow, who managed to get out of the vent, re-entered the house after opening the door. She hid with Jamie in a closet. Sky and her stepfather checked the house and tried to find them, and her stepfather opened a cupboard in which Chris attacked him with a sharp object. Sky then came there and asked Jamie about Chris while pointing a gun. When her stepfather yelled at her to shoot Chris, Sky shot him instead. When Sky was shocked by her own actions, Chris grabbed the sharp object he had used to injure Sky. After successfully stabbing her, Chris grabbed his cell phone and ran to hide. Sky pulled out the sharp object on her shoulder and took the gun. She looked for Chris, who was already controlling the house with an app on his cell phone. Then Chris attacked Sky, but Sky with her sharp object managed to stand up and was ready to attack Chris. Before that happened, Jamie came to attack her, while Chris grabbed a long iron from the fireplace. Jamie, who was fighting Sky, had her leg cut by the sharp object. Chris protected her and cut Sky's leg using the long iron he took. Sky can still move and prepares to use the sharp object in her hand to hurt Chris, but suddenly Sky is shot from behind and Willow is seen holding a gun in her hand. The police arrived at the house and Jamie brought Willow out. Meanwhile, the surviving Sky tells Chris her real name is Margaret.